All right, so I'm going to start with a little story. And if you guys heard the story different, please comment below. But here's what I heard. About 18 months, maybe 2 years ago, Bill Ackman, who's a big hedge fund guy in New York, controversial. He tends to do big shorts on companies, so not everybody's a huge fan. So Ackman's on vacation in London with his wife. Happened into the Bremont boutique. Likes the watches, loves the story. Phone calls get made. He goes to dinner with one, maybe both of the brothers. Either way, he's in and wants to become a major investor in Bremont, which Ryan and I have known Bremont for years now.
2012?
Yeah, we started carrying him in our Tornado days, moved him up over here. We've loved working with the company, everything about it, the history, the product, the brothers. Just a great story to tell. A little upstart company, blah, blah, blah. But I've been waiting for this investment. So Ackman invests something to the tune of $68 million into a company that wasn't doing bad.
Yeah.
You know, like they were successful.
Oh,
They finally completed the wing. They were doing these all in-house manufactured in Great Britain kind of vibe, you know, bring great watchmaking back to the aisle.
Yeah.
And then you get an influx of cash like that. So I've kind of been waiting to see what's going to happen to that capital. And turns out this is the year, man. Wow.
Yes.
It was the first official meeting I took at Watches and Wonders was with Bremont.
Yeah.
And they were kind of positioned upstairs towards one of the exits. There's a few independent halls from like the big players, and this is the smaller companies. And it was there, and as I'm walking up, I see the word Bremont in a font I've never seen before. I see a logo that's half Union Jack, half compass that I've never seen before, and my brain couldn't...
You're like, what is happening? Yeah.
I'm like, is there something else called Bremont?
Is there a new company called Rebrand?
So we walk up, I see Gaston, and he's like, welcome to the new Bremont. And I'm like, what is happening? Complete rebrand.
One of the biggest shocks of the show, to be honest with you.
Biggest shock of the show.
Yeah.
And my other big shock is how much I liked it.
Dude, right?
How much I understand it. Now, to be fair, a lot of people are giving him some heat right now. No such thing as bad press.
Right.
And a lot of these people who are giving him heat haven't been hands-on with the product. I have. It's fabulous.
Yeah.
And, you know, an unabashed fanboy of the company, I want them to do well. But I think with these new lines, there's been a theological changing of the thought process at Bremont.
Right.
You guys who know me know I kind of rail against this need to be in-house. I don't believe it. I don't agree with it. Not everybody needs to make their own movement. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And if you guys want to know more about why that is, I can actually do a whole video on what happened with Nick Hayek, and it's a whole thing. Yeah. But a lot of companies felt compelled to start making their own movements. And if nothing else, on the service side, it becomes a nightmare. You have these small companies making their own movements. They're trying to make watches, and at the same time, they have to do service.
Correct.
And our guy Ben here is one of the best in the world, and he can't service it because they won't give him parts. And okay, enough rant.
Yep.
So what Bremont has done is they haven't stopped the in-house thing. They have lines going parallel now. So they've kept the Martin Baker line and things like that, and they will continue to do some upper end in-house movements. But what they did with the rest of the line was made a completely stunning, very, very approachable, really, really well done watch.
Yes, at a great price point, mind you.
The prices are phenomenal.
Yes.
The materials are phenomenal.
The recasing. I mean...
So the two big redo lines are Terra Nova and Super Marine.
Right. Yes.
And I think the biggest shock right off the bat for me was their use of 904L steel.
Oh, playing on Rolex's game now.
The only other company that uses 904 is Rolex.
Yep.
And people will talk about its ability to hold a polish or it being harder. What I know,
Rust resistant.
That's it. What I know of 904 is if you are in the ocean and you don't rinse off your watch and you come back out, you won't get pitting, you won't get rust. It's more anti-corrosive, a better material, harder to work, more expensive for sure.
For sure.
And then to maybe counterbalance that, they're doing Sellita movements almost throughout the line. Now, for those of you who don't know, Sellita, basically a clone ETA movement. A lot of the patents that ETA had for like the 7750 and the 2892 lapsed.
Yeah.
So Sellita came out with a virtual part-to-part clone of the 2892. What I like about stuff like this is you're talking about a workhorse watch at a very, very reasonable price in a great material. This means Parts are available everywhere. Every watchmaker on the planet can work on this. Every watchmaker is going to be familiar with it. I want that watch to be a 1979 Volkswagen Bug.
Everybody can work on it. Yeah, exactly.
Parts available, quick, easy.
Cheap to fix.
Yes. The other really cool thing they did, and if you followed our Instagram post when we were over there, I tried to show it a little bit with a light. They're using block Luminova.
Oh.
So, especially on the Terra Nova, it really shows. It's kind of a vintage-inspired watch with Arabic numerals. All those Arabic numerals are cut from blocks of Super Luminova.
Oh, cool.
So when it lights, you get side lume, three-dimensionality. It's fabulous,
Almost
man.
like the Panerai submersibles when they were bringing
Correct.
those like 3D
That
dots.
first 616, the 1616. Yes, that's exactly what it
same
reminded
thing,
me of.
basically.
Yep.
Okay.
Super cool. And then the bracelets are just phenomenal. So well done.
It kind of reminds me of that old like Seinfeld like bullet bracelet that
Yep.
you always used to wear.
Especially at first blush, there is a vintage bullet bracelet kind of a feel to the Supermarine. When you get hands-on with it, it's actually, it's a double link. So it wears a little bit differently. It feels a little bit differently. But yeah, you're absolutely right.
Kind of same kind of vibe, basically.
Yeah. And then like they did a couple of like really high-end things too. There was a tourbillon there.
Bremont did a tourbillon?
Bremont did a tourbillon.
Oh my gosh.
There's a solid gold chrono there. I didn't cover it a whole lot because I'm not sure how viable that product's going to be.
Right, but like if you remember, even their upper end stuff from back in the day actually still holds pretty well. To be honest with you, like the Codebreaker, the Victory, the P51 Mustang.
Yep.
You can look up any of those on
Fragile
Chrono
but
24 right
Agile.
now.
Yeah.
They were like $18,000 retail for the Victory and Codebreaker, and I'm pretty sure on Chrono 24 they're still at that or higher because I mean they were limited and things like that because of history. But it's one of those things where even Bremont in their upper end can still sell and still work that market.
We were endlessly surprised when Ryan and I first signed up to be Bremont, reps.
Yep.
They came out. I think the first one we dealt with is maybe the tail end of the P51, but into Victory. Victory was the first one we really worked with, and I'm not going to bore you with the history of the HMS Victory watch, but it was expensive.
Very expensive.
The steel was expensive. They did a gold one that was like, and we were like, no way.
There's not going to sell.
The gold was like $25,000.
Yeah, we're like, it's not going to sell. And
No.
we were getting calls before we even got the product.
Couldn't keep them in stock.
Could not keep them in stock. And
Fabulous.
It was outselling all the normal line. And on the opposite end of that, I'm actually loving that they went starting at a lower price point too. A little bit more obtainable for the guy that can't afford a $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 watch. Now you can get one for $2,800. Yeah. I mean, that's not bad at all.
Well, and it always reminds me of years and years and years ago, one of the first elevator pitches I ever got for Bremont, I think still holds absolutely true. It was Bremont wants you to wear their watches the way other brands only advertise. And I've kept that with me the whole time. And I think it still holds true to this day. I think it's absolutely at their core value. This watch wants to go on adventures with you, and it's up for it, man. It can take whatever you want to dish out.
Absolutely.
So we would love your opinion on the new Bremont. Like I said, I was completely taken aback. I had no idea they were doing it, which I love.
Yep. They played that really tight to chest. Yeah.
Well, and this is part of the reason why I kind of go radio dark a couple of days beforehand. I don't want leaks. I want to go to the show and see it all the first. So I was complete surprise there. But I want to know your opinion. It is controversial. It was a big break with what we know from the brand. Yeah. So tell us what you think.
Yeah.
If you happen to be out and about, we have stores in Scottsdale, both up here at the shops at Geneva Village and down at Scottsdale Fashion Square. If you are fortunate enough to find yourself in Aspen, please stop in, have a drink, say hi to Emery and Harry for us.